Hi friends, I'm Scott Giles, and welcome to Power Talk, my podcast here on Facebook Live and YouTube. I cover topics related to spirituality, hypnotic coaching, and the hypnotic arts and sciences generally. If you'd like to know more about my professional work, and I hope you do, or if you'd like to sign up for my free e-newsletter, Power Lines, check out my website, which I'll tag at the end of this video. Today, I want to discuss how we, as philosophical people, deal with the fact that things are messed up. I mean, there are days when I avoid watching the news. In fact, I sometimes recommend a deliberate news fast for very ill clients because the last thing they need to do is to flood their body with stress hormones generated by the latest news programming. We've got skepticism about elections. Democracy appears to be under siege. Impeachments, rapidly accelerating climate issues, ballooning student and credit card debt. There's a lot of stuff to worry about. So what to do? Well, when I think about worry, I'm reminded of a wonderful quotation by Winston Churchill, former Prime Minister of Great Britain. He said, "There have been lots of things I've worried about, and looking back, I see that mostly those things never happened. So therefore, I assume worrying must have helped." Well, we laugh at that because we realize that worrying couldn't possibly have helped. He was worried about things that never happened, just needlessly stressing himself. But how do we do that? How do we deal with worry? Well, there was a famous 19th century philosopher, David Hume, who, when confronted with news about the problems of his time, responded that the best solution that he could see was carelessness and inattention. Just play a few games of backgammon, he urged. That will refresh your mind. Well, maybe it did or does, but I don't think that that's much of a solution. Personally, I take some refuge in the wisdom from the world's religion. In the Old Testament book of Ecclesiastes, it's written that all things are wearisome, more than one can say. The eye never has enough of seeing, nor the ear its fill of hearing. What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. Well, that's a way of saying that things have been bad before and will be bad again, meaning that there isn't really anything exceptional about the reality that life is difficult. The specific problems change. For example, right now we're dealing with climate change. Well, hundreds of years ago they dealt with plagues. But there is always something threatening on the horizon that we will need to cope with. Things have always been bad, or could be interpreted that way. There have always been crappy people. There has always been misfortune. People and creatures we love will die, always have, always will. Yet strange though it might seem, I find that thought comforting. Present-day problems will always seem worse than problems of the past because we dealt with the problems in the past in some way, and so they're not as pressing on us as the issues we face now. We know how we met and accommodated past problems. We may have no idea what we'll do about present problems as we're in the midst of figuring that out. But we will figure it out. Philosophy teaches that we can't control events in most cases. We can try to proactively manage our risk, but everyone has to go through life reacting to the unforeseen. That's normal. So it makes no sense to get upset about it. Being upset and anxious about that which is normal and inevitable is exceptionally dumb. But there is one thing that we do control and can do something about. We can decide if we will let the fact that bad things happen mess us up. When I was a young minister in my first parish, a rural small congregation with lots of people problems, I used to have a paperweight on my desk that said, illegitimi non corrundum, which is Latin for, don't let the bastards get you down. It's since become a popular meme, and I even have a client who had it tattooed on herself as a reminder and a talisman. But I think she's right. I think the paperweight was right. We and we alone decide if the fact that there is bad stuff, and it doesn't fundamentally change. Bad stuff keeps on happening, but we decide if we will let that reality get to us. There is a hymn from 1868 attributed to someone who called herself Pauline T., first published in the New York Observer. It's titled, How Can I Keep From Singing? Also recorded in modern times by the popular artist Enya as My Life Flows On in Endless Song. The first verse is, My life flows on in endless song, above earth's lamentation. I catch the sweet though far off hymn that hails a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It finds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? That lyric talks about earth's lamentation, a way of referring to the reality that there is bad stuff and we all confront it. And for me, that is the realization from very, very long ago that there is nothing new under the sun. Bad stuff is, and bad things don't change all that much from year to year. But when she sings about a new creation, now that's a New Testament theological theme from 2 Corinthians, of having a transformation of consciousness and taking a new direction in your life because of it. But we find that in the book of Ecclesiastes as well, where the writer later says, chapter 8, verse 15, if you want to look it up, So I commend enjoyment, for there is nothing better for people under the sun than to eat and drink and enjoy themselves, for this will go on with them in their toil through the days of life. In other words, find a way to be optimistic and enjoy what you can enjoy, despite the reality that bad stuff is and always will be, and that will not change. But there will still be joy, times of happiness, above the lamentation. Healthy self-indulgence is not wrong. It's in fact a tonic for the human condition. Enjoy what you can. And don't let the bad stuff grind you down. Hey, thank you for your time and attention today. I'll be back next week with another talk on a different subject. I invite you to join me. It does help me if you let others know about my work and my videos, so please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, if I can be of help to you, feel free to reach out through email, my website, or my Patreon channel, and have a great week.